All right, let's just jump right into it. Forever, we've been told there's this one golden rule for a happy career: follow your passion. But what if that advice, as well meaning as it is actually a trap? Today, we're going to break down why this super popular mantra might actually be setting a lot of us up for failure. You've heard this a million times, right? And it's such a beautiful idea. This one little sentence has launched countless businesses, it's inspired huge career changes, and it's pushed so many people to try and turn their hobbies into their actual jobs. It promises this amazing life where work and joy are basically the same thing. I know, it sounds a little crazy, but it's a question we really need to ask. Could this piece of wisdom that we all love so much actually be leading people straight to burnout, financial trouble, and maybe even causing us to fall out of love with the very things that used to bring us so much happiness?
Look, the appeal of the whole passion principle thing is incredibly strong. It's a really seductive idea that taps right into our deepest wants for meaning and, fulfillment. But before we get into the problems, let's just be clear about why it's so darn compelling in the first place.
This right here is the core promise. The idea is that you can kind of hack the system. So, instead of that typical 9 to 5 grind, you get to spend your days doing something you're genuinely excited about, and you get paid for it. It completely changes a job from just a necessity into a real form of self-expression.
So what happens when that dream slams into reality? Well, that's where we hit our first major problem: the huge, immense personal pressure that comes when you try to make money from your passion. And you can really see the transformation on this slide. As a hobby, your passion is your escape. It's just pure joy, absolutely no strings attached. But the second it becomes a job, it's suddenly loaded up with deadlines, client demands, and this constant pressure to perform. The very thing that used to be your refuge can become a massive source of stress and anxiety. This quote from a Reddit user who went into graphic design just hit so hard. They love design, but the daily grind of having to be creative on demand for clients just stripped all the joy out of it. It's such a classic textbook example of how turning what you love into what you do can lead you straight to burnout. So here's the bottom line. The personal cost can be really high. You're set up with these totally unrealistic expectations of being happy all the time. And if you don't even have a single clear passion, you can feel completely lost. It can absolutely kill a hobby you once loved. And maybe, most importantly, just being passionate about something doesn't automatically mean you're skilled enough to build a whole career on it. Okay, so beyond the personal cost, there's a serious economic downside. Let's call it the passion tax, this unspoken penalty you pay for doing what you love. So here's what that means. In fields that are considered passion careers, like the arts or nonprofits or even the gaming industry, employers can and often do leverage your love for the work. The sort of unspoken deal is that your fulfillment is part of your paycheck, which they use to justify lower salaries and tougher working conditions. And the data? Well, the data really shows the intense mental toll these careers can take. A study in PLOS One on arts professionals during the pandemic found that a staggering 71% reported increased anxiety. That just highlights how fragile these careers can be. And it's not just anxiety. That same study found that 59%, we're talking nearly 2/3 of them, faced serious financial hardship. This just goes to show how these passion-driven fields often lack the kind of economic stability you'd find in more traditional careers, leaving people really vulnerable. And this doesn't hit everyone in the same way. Just look at this chart. It breaks it all down by specialty. While a whopping 75% of people in the performing arts faced financial hardship, only 30% of those in literature did. The risk level is all over the place, and it really depends on how much that field relies on things like live events. So why does this even happen? Well, a researcher named Aaron Setch found that employers actually prefer passionate applicants because they believe those workers are, exploitable. They expect them to go the extra mile without demanding the pay that should come with it. Your passion becomes their leverage. And what all of this leads to is a system where pursuing your passion is, frankly, a luxury. It really favors people who already have financial safety nets, like, family support, to get them through unpaid internships, low starting salaries, and just general economic instability. It is not an equal opportunity game. Okay, so if follow your passion is pretty flawed advice, then what's the alternative? We can't just leave it there. Let's talk about a more practical, more sustainable way to think about all this. So instead of chasing a feeling, the idea is to focus on action. Build skills that are actually valuable in the marketplace, skills that can give you the stability to pursue your passions on your own terms. Be open to exploring different paths. You might discover an interest or a talent you never ever knew you had. Try to find purpose in what you do, even if it's not your number one hobby. And please remember, your career is just one part of a much bigger, well-rounded life.
This really means we need to reframe what success even looks like. Find that real satisfaction in just being good at your job, in a job well done. Let your passions be your hobbies. Keep them safe from all the pressures of the market. And I love this idea, diversify your meaning-making portfolio. Basically, don't put all your fulfillment eggs in the one work basket.
I absolutely love this quote from that same Reddit discussion. It's such a simple, powerful, and totally different way to think about it. Let your job be the engine that powers the life you actually want to live and the passions you want to pursue, on your own terms. So let's end with this. Maybe we've been asking the completely wrong question this whole time. Instead of starting with this vague, super high-pressure search for a passion, what if we started by defining the life we want to live, and then built a career to support that? That simple little shift in perspective, well, it could make all the difference.